Good Little Boys Go to Heaven, available on Amazon. Part 7 of 25. Things Will Be Fine. Winter 1941, East Texas. Mama invited their family over for dinner. After church services, they were to follow us in their truck. She roasted a chicken on Saturday and left it in the refrigerator overnight. On Sunday morning, she turned the oven on low and placed the chicken in to reheat while we were gone. I don't know when their family became members of our church. One Sunday after services, I was looking about and noticed this blonde girl scowling at me. I had noticed her before and assumed she and her family were new to the county. We saw many people pass through the county, with very few of them choosing to settle here. This blonde girl was about my height and my size. I'm not sure why her size caught a pause in my thought, but after the pause ended, I noticed a smaller girl with a blank look on the smaller girl's face beside her. Behind them were a man and a woman, modestly dressed but apparently clean. The man wore dark trousers and a white shirt with no jacket or tie. The woman wore a simple blue dress, as did each of their daughters. They seemed a close family, or at least they stood huddled together, looking somewhat wary of their new congregation. I, I was 10 or 11 at the time. That was several years before our shared dinner. Mama made it clear that she wanted to see me married. She thought my marriage would solve the problem she knew she couldn't help me with. She made no secret of her desire to see me married from our Methodist church. I didn't resist, and I guess neither did the church. I was 17 at the time. Mother, father, and two daughters followed us home after church. I couldn't have been any tenser, and I doubt any of the others could have been either. It was in my mother's head, after Sunday dinner, Bertie, the older sister, and I would stroll off together for a life of unending happiness. Bertie made no attempt to hide the disdain she felt for me. We had been in school together for several years, and she never showed anything other than a dislike for me. Bertie always seemed wary of the people of the county as a whole. When she reached 18, she left East County, Texas behind. I haven't heard anything more of her. Anna, the youngest sister, found she could tolerate me, and when I asked her to marry me, she said yes. We hadn't dated, we had only spent time together in each other's presence. We didn't talk. She'd give me a friendly smile, which I would trade for a worried smile. She was only 15, but my mother said she'd become a fine young woman. We were to be married 2 years later, it turned out. 17 and 19, married, neither with an understanding of anything, least of all the other. Upon our announcement to both families, my mother forced a smile to her lips. It's such a good match. You two young people are very well suited. You'll be quite happy, I'm sure, she said. Anna's parents forced smiles to their lips and shoved their smiles in my mother's direction. The girl beamed. I didn't. Everything would be fine. I knew they would. My mama said so. Anna's folks were happy about the match, they said. They approved of me. Their approval of me probably changed when their daughter returned to them shortly after we were married with the news of my colored son. While the words came from my mouth, I knew I shouldn't have told Anna about Joey. I didn't tell her to hurt her, but I wanted her to keep her distance. I hadn't wanted to get married, and I didn't want a wife. I attempted to place the boy between the two of us. She didn't get angry or throw a fit. She went upstairs to her bedroom and was quiet for an hour. Then she came down and walked right past me and out the front door. An hour later, her father brought her back. I walked to the front door when I heard their truck drive up. I opened the door and watched him talking at her. She shook her head, and he kept on talking. Finally, she got out of the truck and walked up to me. I was standing just outside the front door. She bowed her head and walked past me into the house. Her father never turned his head to look in my direction. If her father had not brought her back, I would not have gone to get her. It must have almost killed him to have to bring her back to me. It has never been clear to me why her parents supported the marriage. It wasn't clear why her father brought her back each time she left me. Bertie had to have told them things about me that would make them reluctant to let me near either of their daughters. I wasn't frightening or crazy. Detached is what I've been called, which I guess meant marrying me would be similar to marrying no one. A woman can't really marry a man if he isn't there. I don't think it could have been difficult to see. I had no interest in getting married. I never once looked Anna's father in the eye or extended my hand for him to shake. He had to know I had no interest in marrying his daughter. I could never be there for her. Still, her parents gave her hand to me. No, no. Things were indeed clear to me. I knew why her parents supported their daughter marrying me. Times were difficult. That was clear to me. The country was in a depression. That was clear to me. My family wasn't. My mother had wealth, inherited wealth. That was clear to me. Anna's family did not. Mama inherited her wealth from her father. She was an only child, and when her father died, Mama inherited everything. It was clear to me why Anna's parents supported the marriage. And we, my parents, my brother, and I, had next to nothing growing up. We had land, but little more than that. After my mother married my father, her father would give her nothing. My father was from a family that worked their own land. My mother's father worked with other people's money. My mother's father owned a bank and parts of other businesses in the county seat. My mother had chosen a life of one who works the land, not other people's money, a poor person's life. Things could have changed after my grandfather passed, but my mother would not loosen her grip on austerity. We can make do, I can still hear her saying. She never talked straight about the split with her father. Maybe it was her choice as well as his. She mourned his passing and went to his funeral at the Baptist church. She wasn't close to him when he passed, but she never spoke ill of him. I made my choices and he made his, was all she would say about their separation. I made assumptions, but assumptions are all I have of the story. Of course, assumptions become reality if they aren't challenged. After she got her inheritance, our lives didn't change. She wouldn't give the old man a dime, and all of Jack and I got was what we had gotten before. We had wealth, but we were poor. I can't get the order of the dates correct in my head. My grandfather passing, father leaving us, the flourishing of our church, the Methodist church. My mother's, I have to go into town to see about business complaints. My father beginning to steal from my mother's purse and his pleas to her to give him a place in the business. I need some reason to get up in the morning. A bottle gives me a reason to go to sleep at night. I am a smart man. I can learn quickly. I am a man whose wife does not believe him. How can a wife not believe in the man she has taken as her husband in front of God and everyone else? The order doesn't matter. A mess is a mess, no matter how it's ordered. Anna came back saying she had forgiven me for everything. She said she understood that a man could sometimes be weak and still be good. I looked at the Bible she held in her hands. Will you read a verse with me, Joseph? It's one my daddy picked for us. Her daddy picked out a verse for us. I just stared at her. She began to read. But from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. For this cause, a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be of one flesh. So then they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. The father had chosen the passage Mark 10:6 through 9. I had heard it before. On the eve of my wedding, my mama read it to me. Anna went on. And in the house of his disciples asked him again of the same matter. And he saith unto them, Whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another committeth adultery against her. And if a woman shall put away her husband, be married to another, she committed adultery. There was something genuine in her approach that I found touching. She was trying. I wasn't. And I know I would never be willing to try to make this marriage work. I wished I could have told her I loved her. I wished I could have held her close to my heart in my arms. Instead, I found myself repulsed. I nodded my head. She was reading to me from the Bible. I forgive you for all you have done, and I beg you to forgive me for judging you. I know it's not my place to judge you. I nodded my head again. She stood there staring at me. I walked up to her and embraced her. She started crying. We will get past this, Joseph. All you have to do is tell me it is over. Tell me you won't ever see her again. There's the boy. I can't turn my back on him. She broke my embrace, and I could see the anger growing out. She turned and left the room. I heard her go upstairs and slam the bedroom door. She read to me from the Bible. I couldn't stop thinking. She thought the Bible would make what she had to say more relevant, that she'd be able to use the Bible to control my thoughts and actions. It amazed me that I felt so angry towards my wife for reading from the Bible to me. Is the Bible the word of God or the word of man? I've never been sure, but I could see that she was spreading her own word, not God's. I went upstairs to our bedroom and went in. I found her lying on the bed, one arm covering her eyes. Anna, look at me. Anna. She lowered her arm, uncovering her eyes. Her eyes were red, and there was puffiness around them. I sat on the bed close to her. I held one of her hands in one of mine and kissed it. You were right. That passage from the Bible confirmed what I should have been wise enough to see on my own. Please forgive me. I swear I will never be unfaithful to you. You mean you won't be unfaithful to me again? She said. I let the distinction she tried to make lay. Anna had a strong will, just as my mama had. Our wills clashed many times. She showed no reluctance to butting heads, similar to my mother. I'd verbally back down, but the minute the confrontation had passed, I'd act as if it had never happened. I altered neither my thoughts nor my actions. She began to attempt to track my every move. Where are you going? Where have you been? I began to hear her asking me in my sleep. She expected me to account for my whereabouts every second of every day. I'd just look at her, turn and walk away. As I said, a few times she left me to go to her folks. Her father always drove her back. She'd always come to me with an apology and then offer to give me for whatever she could think of that I'd done to wrong her. In the third year of our marriage, she became with child. Our times together had been infrequent, but she had conceived. She was bubbling over when she said, God has given us a new beginning. This is our chance to be a real family. Two people who have lived apart as parts of nothing these past few years can finally become parts of a family. This baby can replace the one you should have never had. How we stayed together for 3 years without a child to keep us apart, to keep us together. I cannot fathom. I couldn't have been tenser those years. I'd go here and there, frequently not giving much thought to where here and there were. Anna was a good wife, prayerful, attentive, and controlling. She tried, but still I couldn't. In my weaker moments, I came close to shedding tears for her to match those I had caused her to shed about me. She didn't deserve to cry, but still I couldn't get the boy and his mother out of my mind. Anna carried the baby well. She was on her feet practically until the birth. It was a joyous day for all when the baby was born, even for me. The little girl was practically a younger version of her mother with the same blonde hair, blue-green eyes, and childish temperament. I'm ashamed to admit it, but the worse things got between my wife and me, the more difficult it became for me to even look at this blonde-haired little girl. I could see so much of her mother in her. The saddest thing was that the little girl loved me and would show it without reservation. She seemed to take my part in my battles with her mother. She'd always come to me and say her mother just didn't understand. I never asked this smile child what it was her mother didn't understand, but I found this both amusing and comforting at the same time. I mainly found it hard to look at my little girl when I'd been drinking. She would become her mother, a smaller version, but no less aggravating. She didn't even have to say anything to turn my head away. Usually the words that came out of her little mouth were meant to comfort me. I didn't take them that way. Sometimes I'd snap at her to just go away and leave me alone. She'd stand there just staring at me, her eyes growing wet. I'd reach out my hands to her and she'd come to me and I'd lift her into my lap. I could never say I'm sorry to her, but somehow she understood. Anna finally left me, but I'm not really sure when. One day the little one came in screaming about something. Go find your mama and tell her your problem. Mama is gone. When do you expect her back? I asked. She's been gone 3 or 4 months now. I'm not sure she's coming back. I sat there stunned. A cloud had been lifted from my life, and I'd been too drunk to realize it. Then I realized she had left something behind. The little girl. Your mama just up and left? Did she say where she was going? You sure she left on her own and wasn't taken away? I'm sure she told me it was up to me to look after you now. She said she had had enough and she was leaving. She hoped the Lord would forgive her, but she couldn't live like this anymore. Why didn't you mention this to me? Did it slip your mind or something? It took you 3 or 4 months to even ask about her. What do you care about what happens to her? Her mama left me. I could understand, but I couldn't understand her leaving the little girl behind me. I spent more time in the bottle than out of it. The girl was only 9. How could her mother expect me to look after her? I would have given her mother every cent I had to provide for the little girl. She just up and left, though. What have you been doing since your mother left? What have you been doing, Daddy? Your mother and I were apart before she left. She said you were going to drink yourself to death. No, I'm all right. Things will be fine. Have you been eating? Have we been eating for the past 2 months? We've been eating. I've been putting food in front of you that I've been buying with the money I take from your wallet. I go to the diner in town. Mrs. Jacob shares what she cooks for herself and her husband. You've been eating. Have you been all right? Mama left me at Mrs. Jacobs' house when she left. Mrs. Jacobs comes by and sees that we are doing fine. Mrs. Jacobs is your mama's friend. Yes, she's also been a good friend to you and me. I still couldn't ask her the question I wanted to ask her most. Why had her mother left her behind? I reached out my hand to her. She placed her small hand in it. I pressed her hand to my lips and kissed it. She jumped up in my lap and wrapped her arms around my neck. I would have thought her mother's leaving would open the door for me to find some peace of mind. I'm still waiting for that to happen. I'm still waiting for things to be fine. But I know they will be fine. My mama said so. That's it.